Good morning, Mike and Arlen. Our Philippine journey. It's been a crazy, crazy night. And this is not clickbait. You're going to see it happen. We had to call an ambulance last night. I'm going to tell you about it, going to tell you why, and going to tell you what happened. So, let's talk about it.
Why'd you have to go? I guess this world's too slow for you. I think there's beauty in the gray, the cold, but you just want the gold. And there's no way I can beat it, cause I got no chance, no chance when it comes to her. She got the glitter and the fame, and I just wasn't enough.
So last night, Arlen was putting together dinner. And we often have dinner in our master bedroom. The aircon is on. We're not wasting aircon anywhere else. We're watching TV. It's comfortable, whatever. So she's plating the food. I'm in the spare bedroom. And Arlen is putting food on the plate. She's going to bring it in. She comes in, sets the food down. She says, Mike, I had to help our neighbor. I said, what do you mean? Because we do have neighbors all up and down, all right? But we don't really get to know them because they're usually transitory. A week, a weekend, a month, and they're doing their own thing. A lot of the units that are on our floor are Airbnb or Candy Rentals, one or the other. I said, what do you mean you helped our neighbor? That's a little strange. And she goes, no, he's hurt. And I said, what do you mean? So she explains that, no, he couldn't walk. And I'm saying, huh? So essentially what happened here was, Arlen, we have a screen door and then a regular door. And we have the regular door open. The screen door is open to the hallway, that corridor, that goes the length of the condo units. And it circulates air. So what happened was she heard this moaning. And I mean, not that good kind of moaning. And I said, huh? So essentially, our neighbor was hurt. He was hurt, and I don't mean a little bit hurt. I mean, he was propped himself up sideways up against the wall. He was trying to struggle and take steps towards his unit. So I said, okay, let me think. I did the one thing I never do. I never do because of the legal implications. But in this instance, there was nobody else. I said, okay, let's go take a look at him, honey. All right, because Arlen was very concerned. Rightfully so. It's much worse than what I thought. So we went down there. His unit is across the hall and one unit down. And we've run into this guy, in the elevator and in the hallways and stuff. But we really don't know much about him. He's big, burly, not obese, but big, burly guy. All right. So he's sitting on his bed. Actually, we can hear him in the hallway, and we grab the hallway. All has windows. Every unit has a window in the CR. It's not a window, it's frosted. You can't see through it or anything like that. But you can prop it open and it'll help circulate. All right. And it was open, cracked open. So I grabbed it and I opened it wider and I said, hey, are you okay in there? And he's like, ah. And I mean like loud. And I mean like, okay. The door was unlocked, so we went in. He's sitting on the bed. And he is like messed up, but not like bleeding or anything. I mean, he's got some cuts, some scrapes, all right, but he's dirty, and he's like, and I mean, all of a sudden, I start reading, visually triaging in my mind what's going on here. Hold on, this guy's in intense pain. Number one. Number two, his posture is a certain way. I know where he's hurting from initially. All right. And then he's really, really diaphragmatic. I mean, this guy is just sweating. I mean, rivulets of sweat. So to make a long story short, he was on his motorcycle, and he has a pretty big bike. It's a big bike. This is not a scooter. It's not a Harley. It's a big bike, a big Yamaha. And apparently somebody whipped around in a U-turn in front of him from the opposite direction. So if like he's going north, it was going south, and it whipped a U-turn, and he hit him. And he had laid it down, and so he's scratched up. He's, road rash, dirt from the road and everything else. So I said, okay, let's get you comfortable, because he's having a lot of trouble breathing. Okay? And he is just like, cannot contain himself. And this is not a weenie kind of guy. I mean, this is a guy that, he's taken a beating once or twice. I mean, let me just say, you can tell life has, you can tell that he's been and led an active life. Let's just put it like that. All right. So anyways, he's already got this huge hematoma, this big bruise, all right, going down the side of his anterior, his posterior side, all right, partially on his back, almost midline, but shifted over just a little bit. All right, we got a problem here, and this guy he can't breathe. All right, so he's okay though. Everything's fine, and I'm just ratcheting through, and he doesn't want to go to the ER. I said, well, I tell you what, let's get you a little bit comfortable, and let's check on you in like 15 minutes and see how you feel. So we get his shirt off, all right? It is soaking wet, all right? I have his helmet. I move it out of the way, and the inside of his helmet is soaking wet. I know exactly what's going on. This guy's in shock. All right. He's had some significant physical trauma to his body. Maybe, he didn't get blown up. He didn't get shot, but the impact causes a lot of stuff. And this guy's got adrenaline pumping. How he actually managed to get back on that bike. And I did speak with him, and he had help from the guy that he hit. All right. How he managed to get from the scene of the accident back here is incredible. Now, we give him 15 minutes, we're checking on him, all right? This guy, he's like, finally, I'm hurt. And yeah, you're hurt. You're hurt significantly, because I can see his breathing is changing. I can see he's struggling to get air. I can see all kinds of stuff. Everything points. And the one thing that I'm very concerned about, the one thing that really worries me more than everything, is that, I mean, it's probably obvious. I would have been shocked if he didn't have a significant number of broken ribs. All right. But what's really bothering me at this point is his labored breathing, his struggle to get air, to pass air. I'm worried about a pneumothorax. Now, a pneumothorax is when air your lung is a container, and it has layers around it. This is a layman's term. You can, I'm trying to make it simple. You can get air in between the outer portion and the inner portion. That layer of air creates pressure and it collapses the lung. Now, you can get this for multiple reasons: punctures, trauma, bruising, even, hitting it hard enough to physically separate it. But that's what I'm worried about. So, all right, let's get it going here. So, he's got a friend coming, and the friend is going to help him get to the hospital. And we're like, no way, this is not going to happen. He needs an ambulance. He needs to go now. His friend gets there, all right, and we can't even get this guy up. There's no way to carry him. No way at all. At all. So, downstairs, Arlen runs downstairs. Big credit to Candy Palace and their staff, all right? They get on the phone. They call an ambulance. Now, they call an ambulance that's going to take you wherever you tell them to take you, but it's only about a 10-minute. I mean, within 10 minutes, we had 15 minutes. We had an ambulance here. But then we ran into a problem. The problem is the stretcher won't fit in the elevator. All right? And this is not uncommon. And they don't have a wheelchair. And surprisingly enough to me, Candy Palace doesn't have a wheelchair. So, to make a longer story short, the ambulance people, I don't know whether they're EMTs, paramedics, first responders, whatever. There's four of them, three or four, I can't remember, right? And they're trying to, figure a way to get him downstairs. Because, I mean, this guy, he can't stand up, all right, much less walk, all right? And he's too big for these guys to carry. And obviously in a trauma situation, you don't want to body lift people and carry them, all right, for fear of doing anything. I mean, you can turn a fractured rib into a broken rib. And when you break a rib, you have sharp edges, and those are around your lungs. You can exasperate things. So I'm trying to figure it out, and I said, wait a minute. So they were looking at this big chair to fit him in, and they were going to carry the chair. And I was like, this is not, Then they decided, no. So then they're talking about laying him on the bed and then using the sheets to pick him up and carrying him. And I'm like, holy fuck. No. So I said, wait. We have this little cart. It's very small, okay? It's a rolling cart that has a little pushy thing, and it's actually, pretty heavy duty. But we use it to transport the battery for our e-scooter to our unit because we charge it in our unit. So I said, look at the other chairs. Grab that. And I said, Arlen, run into the unit and grab that cart. I told him, grab one of those chairs. Let's grab the chair. Will that footprint fit on this? And sure enough, it does. Barely. And I mean like within millimeters of not fitting. So to make a longer story short, we get the chair on top of the cart. We get him into the chair. All right. And out he goes. In the meantime, he's given me the key to his bike because he said it's in the garage, but the basement parking, but it's not parked. All right. It's not in a spot. I just couldn't do it. I said, fine, we'll take care of it. Don't worry. So his friend, the ambulance crew, they haul ass and go to Medical City, Clark Medical City. I have received a text checking in on him, and He has broken ribs, and I think that that's not just it, because I've seen broken ribs many times. All right, it's very painful, but this is beyond that. So I think he's probably got a pneumo, and that was just the beginning of what happened. My point with all of this is you don't know. Suppose you had been in the province. Suppose you didn't have other people around to help. Suppose you had been alone. This guy would have been absolutely screwed. And I mean screwed immensely. Now, what do you guys think? You tell me in the comments below. Is this something that you should think about and consider? Does it even register here, the possibility? Because you don't have to be on a motorcycle or a scooter or in a car to get in an accident. We see them all the time. We see jeepneys that are in accidents. We see trikes that are in accidents. I mean, over the years, we've seen all of that. We've had neighbors literally fall down, slip, and fall in their unit, and literally broke a hip. I mean, this is the second person Arlen has found. It's crazy. When we first moved here and we were waiting for our condo to complete construction, we were staying temporarily over in Tower 3. And when the hurricane hit, all right, this guy had a lot of water coming in. His doors weren't sealed, and he slipped. And he actually ended up breaking a hip. And it took them an hour to get him out of there because they had to put him on a stretcher, and then they had to carry that stretcher down the stairwell. So you tell us what you think. And when we find out how he's doing, we'll update this maybe if you're interested. Thanks so much. Have a great day.